Hey everybody, how's it going?
You know what?
Okay, please.
You started exactly at 6 o'clock. I mean, literally, my satellite clock ticked 6 o'clock, and you were live. I just had to, now go ahead. Sorry, I ruined your intro.
No, I don't have an intro. I think that's part of what's funny about my channel. I don't have any music, no intro. We just jump right in there. And part of the reason for that is because of my own impatience. Because if I had an intro, I wouldn't be able to sit through it myself. So I just got to just go. So my well documented ADHD is at fault for this.
Oh yeah,
I'm impressed.
So I just wanted to tell everybody, obviously, I got to 100,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And I am joined by Scott from Recovery Addict and Brandy Churchwell, who have been awesome to join me and have been, in my mind, instrumental in helping me get where I am. And I'll explain why that is as we continue to go. But it's very cool to have you guys here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. I'm like, oh, I get to go to the cool kids party. I'm excited to be here. I appreciate it.
This is like hanging out with my two favorite people on YouTube. So this is making my day.
Yeah, this is great. So you know, part of what I wanted to talk about with would you want me to call you Scott or RA? What do you prefer online?
Well, I've been called a lot worse. So either one, I can change my name if you'd like. I'll just make it Scott.
It makes no difference to me. No, leave it as Recovery Addict, because I want to make sure that everybody, and as we'll be talking about this, that is not currently subscribed to you. I want all of my subscribers who are not currently subscribed to you to please go and subscribe to Recovery Addict. And I keep blanking on the name. I tried to remember it earlier. Who was the guy that you covered that was on the run recently? Cavalcante.
Cavalcante, yeah.
That coverage was so good. For anybody who didn't see that, it was like I was supposed to be working late at night, and I would just sit and watch the RA's stream constantly.
I think you weren't alone. I think we probably had a few addicts that discovered a new addiction during that space, and it was crazy. It was so much fun. I mean, I would rather do that than sleep, honestly.
You did do that rather than sleep, because I don't think you slept much at all during that time.
It was a lot of fun.
And you know, well, I actually don't require a lot of sleep for whatever reason. I never have, and that's part of the reason that I can have a full-time job and do this, because I sleep like 1:30 to 7 most days. That's sort of my average, which is fine. I'm very functional on that amount. So
that's great.
And Brandy, I was on your channel not that long ago talking about Thomas Randolph. Is that his name? I don't know.
Yes. Tommy.
Yeah.
Oh, Tommy boy. Yeah. Yeah, that walkthrough that he did was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my life. And I can't even tell you how many times while we were watching, we were like, what would Dr. G say? What would he say about this? And like, we will, the things that you've taught us as we watch your videos, you know, being in our members, we'll sit there and we'll be like, and somebody point out, well, Dr. G would say, remember, look how he just changed, you know, this or did this. And so we feel like our class has learned something, you know, and so we bring it up all the time. But yeah, Tommy.
Well, that episode is, I thought was a lot of fun, and it's pretty awesome. So anybody that hasn't watched that just wants a fun walkthrough of that crazy video, please go to the 13th Juror, check out Brandy Churchwell's channel, and also please subscribe to her channel as well, because you just hit 10K, which is amazing.
We did, and now I think we're like 15 or 20 away from 11K. Like,
awesome.
It was like 10, 11, like it happened real fast. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, it's exciting.
So, you know, one of the things I think for you, RA, okay, I'm sick, y'all, just so you know. So if I get a little foggy headed or I talk backwards, I'm a little more muddled than even normal. But I was on your channel back when Letitia Stout was going on. I think that's the first time we talked. And I really noticed a big boost in how my stuff started growing then. So I really do give you a lot of credit for how quickly I got to 100,000.
I was going to say, I saw the exact thing on my channel when you came on. Suddenly,
really?
I got relevance.
The synergy, it worked out well. That's cool.
There was so much to talk about. Obviously, profile and just trash the same. So different topic, and I don't know why I'm out a little here. Sorry, but loved the analysis you provided on that, and on all my subscribers just ate it up. It was wonderful. So appreciate that so much.
Well, one of the things I'm doing now, like I said, I might be a little slow at times, y'all, so please bear with me. One of the new series I'm doing is called Bizarre Behaviors, where I look at weird, criminals. So like Darrell Brooks is going to be my first episode of that. His case was all sorts of weird. Going to help you better understand. And I'm going to be doing Stephen McDaniel. These are some old cases. Obviously Letitia Stout, Show Business, all those people would fit in there, but I've already done videos of them. But that's going to be a big focus of mine for a while, is finding the really strange forensic cases that I can talk about, because they're interesting. And, you know, people like, I don't know if are you familiar with Darrell Brooks, RA, or no?
I called him Daryl, but
okay, maybe
he had all caps, all lowercase. He's actually what I started live streaming on.
Oh, is he? Oh, okay. Yeah,
we started following.
Great place to start.
And, I deleted all those videos because I thought I'd done something wrong when I tried to get a YouTube partnership. They rejected me, but it was because of a TikTok video I had loaded, which I had made. But I deleted pretty much all my Darrell Brooks stuff, and I'm like, oops. But it was fun. It's the most bizarre behavior.
So they'll do things based on your TikTok stuff. I'm just curious. That's interesting. YouTube
the complaint I got. See, I tried to monetize because my first day streaming that trial, I had like 13 people there. Second day 45, third day 350, fourth day we had 13,000. Okay, so it just like boom, like it exploded. And so I tried to monetize right away, and I had cross-posted a little science video I had made that went viral on TikTok.
Yeah. So
it has like 16 million views on TikTok, which equates, if you do the math money-wise, it's about 75 cents.
Yeah.
And YouTube said that I was posting viral stuff from, I was taking that, even though it was my own video.
That's wild.
So they punished me for that, and I deleted that, and then they were fine with it. So.
Fascinating, because so people have been emailing me saying, hey, your stuff is on TikTok and people aren't giving you credit or whatever. So I went and checked, and I've got like 20 million plus views on my TikTok stuff, which isn't me. I'm not posting it. Somebody else's. I don't really care. It's
Congratulations.
Fine. Yeah, I guess. As far as I'm concerned, it's just like a free social media manager, it's like whatever, that's fine. So, but it's good to know that like it can cause me, if I have some weird issues down the line, it could be people.
I think you'll be fine now. It's just initially when you first get lined up with TikTok, they think that you're stealing someone else's videos.
Yeah. I want that play button, but you got to wait a few days after the 100K before they tell you whether or not you're going to get it, and then they mail it.
Do the background check and everything.
Basically,
so top secret. FBI gets involved, and
apparently it takes about 10 days, and then they'll send you a code if you're eligible or whatever, and I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be. I don't have any issues there, so that should hopefully be coming soon, which I'm really excited about. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I can't wait to see it on the wall back there with all those diplomas.
That's exactly where it's going. You know what? And I will say that getting to the 100K was harder than some of those diplomas were. So it's more work. My MBA it took way less work than getting
play button up.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. But it is cool to be here with everybody, celebrating this, because speaking of diplomas, I've never actually been to my own graduations, like any of them. So this is actually like a first time celebrating this kind of thing, which is pretty cool for me. So,
if I'd have known, I'd have ordered you a graduation cap and everything. We could have had like a whole download the song.
It's funny. It's just been the way things have worked out. Is like basically my brother was graduating from college when I graduated high school, so I can go to that. Then when I graduated college, I was sick. And then my first master's, I was like, I'll just wait till I get my doctorate. And I got my doctorate, and I was like, I just don't feel like going. So I've just
yeah.
Oh man, I don't have any of those doctorate degrees. The farthest I went was a bachelor's, and I did walk for that one though. So I think I had a cap and gown somewhere in a box, where it wants, and that's it. No one's ever asked to see my diploma either.
Yeah, right. Well, nobody's ever asked to see mine either. Hold on, somebody keeps texting me. I want to make sure it's not an emergency. It's not. Nope, just people just interrupting my stream. So let's see here. So somebody was asking where I got my diplomas. I got my undergrad from UGA, and then I got my master's. Yeah, go Dogs. And then I got my first master's from Georgia Southern, which unless you live in Georgia, you probably don't even know what Georgia Southern is. And then I got my doctorate from the Georgia School of Professional Psychology, and then I got my MBA from Georgia Southern, and then I got a counterterrorism degree somewhere else. But anyway, so that's where the majority of them come from. It's probably
are you addicted to getting degrees?
What's funny? I'm somebody who thinks that like working on degrees and all that tends to be like, I'm not somebody who thinks everybody needs a ton of schooling. I'm really not. So it's funny that I've got it, because with my ADHD, it's kind of like torture. I've only gotten the amount of education I needed to do what I want to do. That's it. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't do it. You know, like whether or not my son, what he chooses to do education wise is up to him. It doesn't make any difference to me. So if he says, I don't want to go to college, then we'll figure that out too. Like, it just doesn't matter. So despite the fact that I've spent so much of my life in school, like I don't judge other people by how much schooling they have at all.
So
I have ADHD too. And it's funny that you say that, because school was, there are certain things that came very easily to me, and there were a lot of things in school that they were much more difficult. And even now, it's so bad. If I start my live stream in the morning, my people will be like, Brandy, did you take your medicine? Like my chat will start telling me, you need to take it. They can tell I am so scatterbrained and get off on all these tangents, you know, still. So it's bad. It's real.
I've got to ask, what does your family think about your profession on YouTube, like the YouTube side of what you do?
They think it's amazing. My son was telling everybody at school when I hit 100K, it was like a huge, I mean, he's 12 and he was telling everybody, he thought it was the coolest thing. And that's why I want that play button, really, is because my kids think it's awesome.
He's going to take it for show and tell. He's just slide it in the backpack. It's like, oh,
that's seriously. Yeah, you're not kidding. He really might. And so my family loves, thinks it's really interesting what I do. My wife sometimes gets a little bit tired of me editing videos because I spend a lot of time doing it. And so she's just like, would you just take a day off? And I'm like, no, I won't. But you know, that's okay. And not because she needs to spend more time with me. I find a ton of time for my family. They just want to see me work less, but I like working. It's just sort of who I am. So, so they like it. But
can I ask you a couple questions? Is that all right?
Please do. Yeah, go for it.
What was one thing you completely didn't expect about being on YouTube? What did you discover?
So one of the things is how much I enjoy the community. I didn't expect to like have the same people commenting on my videos and getting to know all those people. To me, that's so cool because I really do. I've got a crazy memory with certain things, and I remember, 99% of the people's names who comment on my videos, good and bad. So like, I didn't expect to have this relationship with so many people, which to me is awesome. I really love it. So that's one thing that surprised me, and also getting to know you guys, like getting to know other creators. I didn't know how that was going to work. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. The community, I think this community we found here in true crime is different than other places on YouTube.
Yeah, because when I do the non-true crime videos, the community is very different on the comment section.
You almost can't read them.
If I'm being honest, so if y'all are commenting on my videos about politicians or my video on the UFO guy, like I may not have read your comments because there's a point where I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to stick to my true crime comment sections because they get wild. So,
oh yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. So, I'm curious for you guys, just because I want to know as well, like for you, RA, what is there anything that's surprised you about your career on YouTube?
I'm surprised every day that somebody would want to come to my channel and listen to me. It's the newness has never worn off. I love the interaction. Like you said, the community is incredible. And yeah, names. I was worried. I'm one of those people that if I go to a new, like a business meeting, I'll shake hands with 150 people and I'll remember one name.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's just the face is familiar, but it doesn't click. But the interaction I've had here on YouTube, it has clicked. And I don't know what it is that makes it stick. And we have all these people. And I know background stories, and because I give away the burner phone number, so yeah, I talk with a lot of people off air as well, and I know all these backstories and family events and good and bad that are happening in their lives, and it's that community level of connection has been amazing. I never also thought that there would be haters out there that come out of nowhere, and my first and I guess my biggest hater happens to live like right next to me. Okay, like not like right next to me.
Yeah,
he doesn't know where I live, but yeah. I could drive to his house in 10 minutes because I know what town he's in.
Yeah. And
I'm blown away by how much effort he puts in to his complaints about anything I do. And it's sort of fun, but I don't feed the troll anymore, but that surprised me as well. I'm like, why watch? You know, if you don't like anything I'm going to say, why are you here?
I do get a lot of comments where people will be like, I hate body language and it's stupid. I'm like, why did you click on the video? That's what it would be.
You're in the wrong neighborhood.
This is super avoidable, y'all.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting though, because there was somebody who was commenting on my videos recently who was just like really getting wild, and it's a name that I'd recognize from other videos, but I was like, sorry, you're getting hidden. I know you've made some nice comments previously, but not anymore. And so they probably don't know they've been hidden because I don't think it notifies you that, but they're probably commenting furiously and I just don't see it. So
why doesn't that one respond to me?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, that's funny.
I'm curious for you, Brandy. Is there anything that, like, what's this journey been like for you so far? I know you'll probably be talking about this on your own stream on Sunday, but
it's been, get your sister. My son just showed up to bring me supper because I've been streaming all day, and my dog's going crazy. Get your sister.
Your thing.
Sorry. Could you repeat the question? I feel like a witness now.
I'm curious what the experience has been like for you, like this YouTube journey so far.
Wild. And unexpected. It was, thank you. It was it was unintentional. I've told this story before, like to my people. The way that everything started was so random because I was out of work because of like cancer treatment and stuff, and couldn't go back to work yet. I was on medical leave, and doctors wouldn't approve for me to go back yet. And I'm like, I can't just sit. I needed something to direct my energy towards. And I loved watching true crime stuff, and I got into watching trials, and I was really into the Murdaugh trial. And then I started, I was in a couple discussion groups on Facebook, and end up making a chart. Somebody there asked me to put it on Twitter, and I did. And then all of a sudden it exploded. So I had no intentions on being on YouTube. And we always joke, RA and I always joke, because I totally ghosted him when he asked me to come on his channel. I was like, no, I'm not going to do live videos aren't my thing. But I had no intentions on doing it. And then when Valo came around, I was like, nobody's like streaming it in like the little community that I feel safe in. So, because there was no video, so I decided to do the audio in the evenings, and it just kind of, I thought nobody would show up, but I was like, well, if we should have like 2 or 3 people that we could listen together, and like go through all the details. But like y'all were both saying, like the community is just crazy. Like how, we listen to the stuff that's so terrible and everybody supports each other through it. And then we listen to the dumb criminals and snarky attorneys, and, we can laugh at them together. And so it's kind of like we, go through all of these emotions. Like you have other people to go through and like support you when you need it, which sounds like the weirdest thing, because it's strangers on the internet, supporting you as you're listening to these terrible things, but it really does make a huge difference. And it's and how much everybody cares about, each other and the victims. I love it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that really stood out because, as I mentioned, RA, that you go into your channel, that was some of the first live stuff, like live true crime I was really watching. And like, your community was so just awesome. Now that mine was still building at that point, but yours clearly knew each other. It was cool.
Yeah. We have so much of the same core group that, that come together. And then there's always like new people come in, and, people from other communities popping in and stuff like that. And, but we always have like that core group, and everybody knows, they'll check on everybody like, oh, how's your, grandma who's in the hospital and stuff. I love that. Like, I love how much everybody cares about each other. It's really cool.
So
it's authentic, which is just, I love it.
Somebody just asked, where's Mrs. G? So she is hopefully going to join us in a few minutes. She's got to get up at 5:30 a.m. tomorrow to take my daughter to a cheerleading competition, and so like she's just sort of running around trying to get stuff done. But once she can, she's going to try to join us, hopefully. So
awesome!
That's where we're going to get the scoop.
Yeah, that's exactly. I told you, y'all can ask her whatever you want about me, like unfiltered. It's like I'm an open book. One of the things that I think is interesting, and we were touching base about this very briefly before we got on. I'm one of at least as far as I know, there's not a lot of psychologists that do this on YouTube. There's Hidden True Crime. So Dr. John Matthias, he's one of them. I don't know of any other actual psychologists that do this. I know Dr. Grande, he's not a psychologist, but he's obviously very popular. He's a doctor of clinical supervision. So his background is very, very different than mine. Although you wouldn't know it if you just sort of see the title Dr. Grande. But, I think that's probably one of the reasons I've been able to get to 100K so quickly, because I really started this in March. And I think that's the interesting draw, as my perspective is a little different.
That is absolutely amazing. I think all three of our channels, we're in like the top 1% of YouTubers, like all three of us. And it's just people try YouTube and fail. But I think the thing that really just stands out is all three of us just bring what we are to YouTube. I can try to be Mr. Beast and I'll fail at that. Okay. I can't be Mr. Beast on YouTube. He can have billions of subscribers and no one will watch. But there are people out there that want to connect, and they want to connect with something that's real and something they can relate to, and somebody that enjoys what they enjoy. And there's just, it blew me away. One of the other things is just how big YouTube is, just how many people are out there. I mean, you look at the numbers sometimes when you have like a popular video and you try to, you like, I've got a small town watching me, or I've got a good sized city present here, and it's mind blowing to think of, if you could visualize on a map and just everyone just light up, on the city where people are watching, you see people from all around the world. Just the connections are incredible.
Yeah.
It is wild, sometimes, because when you try to put things into perspective, it's like if you were in a room with the amount of people all hanging out with us right now, it would feel very different, maybe a little bit more nerve-wracking. So.
Yeah. It's fun though, but like when you do have, like, I think that I get different things out of different streams too. Like there are some, things that I cover that aren't like huge, like there's not a ton of interest on them. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, this sounds like an interesting thing. So it'll be, like a smaller group. And then you have some of those that are like, a ton of people, and it's just a totally different thing. But even with whether it's like the small or the huge, it's always fun. But it's crazy how, even with those two different groups, how like widespread everything is. We have people from like all different, like Ari was saying, like all different countries, all different stuff, and to have the same interest in the same thing, I think it's such a cool thing to like be able to connect to people on a common interest, and then hear so many other things. We have talks, in like the break times about, like different foods and different, like we do polls on, because I call it's a buggy. It's not a shopping cart, it's a buggy. So then like, and somebody's like, no, it's a trolley. No, it's a cart. So like, we'll do polls on, what it's called and stuff like that. But it's cool, like, that aspect of it too, because you're here for one thing, but you end up getting so much more because of how, how widespread everything is.
And we're all East Coast, right? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought, which is interesting. I don't know why, just somehow like we just are. It's just interesting that we're all sort of centrally located on the same side of the US, but yeah.
I've got a question, Dr. G. What's your vision for the future for your channel? What's your goal?
That's a great question. My goal is to be able to do a little bit less clinical work and focus on this more, because I have so much stuff I want to do. I mean, I'm going to try to upgrade like the quality of my camera and stuff like that. Not because in the past I haven't been able to like find a good one. It's just the way I have it set up right now is so simple. I can just like do it quickly. But so
you can
I'm
do this simply. I've got 47 cables running the live stream, so I do it the opposite. But new camera.
So I want to upgrade things a little bit, but in terms of what I'm doing, I just want to do more of it. As I've mentioned, I've recently started doing some political videos, which some people are a little frustrated that it feels a little one-sided, because there's just the GOP has been in the news a lot lately. So I've been talking a lot about the GOP, but it's not a specific bias or anything. I'm going to cover everybody. But the goal is going to be just to continue to expand what I'm doing, but more of it, essentially, because I don't know what else I would do differently. I enjoy what I do. I think it's kind of fun. So
yeah.
RA
has the most complicated setup. It gives me anxiety looking at it. And he's just like, oh yeah, I got this. Let me press these 824 buttons, but I don't know how he does it. And I'm like, every time something goes wrong, I'm like, well, do I just unplug it and plug it back in? I don't know how to work all this stuff. I'm impressed. So when you say simple and RA saying he has the opposite, I'm like, yeah.
I
I
want to
can't
show you, but my system isn't working. I
Yeah.
can't,
It's too
I
complicated.
can't get it to turn on.
unplug and plug it back in. That's how I fix everything. That's the only way I know how to do anything.
The audio side of things on mine is somewhat complicated. I actually think I have a very similar panel to what you have. So I actually have all those weird little sound effects. I just don't use them. But I need to have them. Oh, we got a couple of new members. Cool.
Hey.
Oh wow, we've got lots of new members. I'm sorry, I've been abandoning the chat. In a minute, we're going to ask some questions and jump into the chat. I usually answer lots of questions. You know, as far as the future of the channel goes, I'm always working so much and going so fast. The goal is just to be able to have more time to do it. That's all, because I love doing this. And I like I said, I was sick today, so I didn't really record it all. I was just editing that Daryl Brooks video, or Darrell. I don't even know what the proper name is, but you know, I would love to start getting out at least a video a day. So we'll see.
Yeah.
That's a lot of work. I can't edit. I edited for today's stream. We showed a police chase, okay,
Yeah.
which was an hour long, and I had 3 different camera angles I had to edit together. I was up last night till like 10:30 in the morning, and then up at 5 still working on it. It's like 4 hours of editing for every hour of filming is what I end up putting in.
That sounds pretty fair, actually. But I edit, not to bore everybody with all of this stuff, but I edit on an iMac, and I have really good editing software, so it's easy. It's just time consuming. You know, people keep telling me just to save myself time, I should send my stuff somewhere else to edit. But the way I record, guys, is that I like have outtakes in the middle of stuff, and I like have to splice things very precisely, because otherwise you're going to just see me going on weird rants and stuff. So I feel like somebody else wouldn't know where to cut.
Do you find it hard? Because there's a point where you have to get help, whether it's with your chat or with, you know, just handling aspects of the channel. Do you find it hard to relinquish some control of your baby?
Definitely, only because I feel very I'm very happy that I have mods today. I had no problem relinquishing that control, and I appreciate you guys for doing this. I really do. But as far as like editing and all of that, yeah, I would have a hard time, because I just feel like somebody's not going to know what matters and what doesn't. Because I'll have a video that's 25 minutes long, and they go, it's too long, and then I'll cut out really specific stuff. There's no way somebody else would know what to cut out, so it's very hard. It would have more of a typical YouTube sort of feel probably if I had somebody else edit it, but I don't think that it would. It would take me just as long to re-edit the thing than to just do it myself. So for now, I'm going to continue to do this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I've got another question. I've got a whole bunch of questions.
Please, yeah.
Are there people that are close to you that you don't tell that you're on YouTube?
Yeah. Not all of my siblings even know that I do this stuff on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah. So I tell all of my patients that I'm on YouTube. Some of them come from it, and I can actually practice in like 45 states, because I'm part of this thing that most people are licensed in only one state, but I'm part of this thing that allows me to practice elsewhere. So so I tell my patients that, but yeah, I don't tell a whole lot of people outside of that, unless there's somebody I think would be really interested, which is sort of weird, but
Yeah.
Do you guys? I'm just curious. I mean, does everybody know exactly what you're doing with?
I have a hard time sometimes explaining it to people.
Yeah.
Because the idea out there is that, you know, especially I live in the same town as Mr. Beast, right? So he's a YouTuber in Greenville, North Carolina. So everyone knows what YouTube is, and it's kids making silly prank videos and, you know, outlandish stuff. Yeah. And so here I am, a full grown. Well, no, never mind. I'm not going to use that term. Full grown man. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a YouTuber, you know, and they're like, you're what? You know, what do you do? And so I haven't found a way to, I guess I need to prepare a script that softly break them into, this is what I do. And yeah, it's a real thing.
Yeah, it's not everybody fully can like wrap their heads around it, because I've definitely told people and go, oh, okay. I'm like, you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's funny because that documentary just came out, like the thing on Netflix where they're talking about the Depp trial and people watching the Depp trial. And I had one of my friends text me like, I saw this thing and this is something you could do on there too. I'm like, that's literally exactly what I do. Like the thing that she sent me the clip of oh, they talk about trials on the YouTube. I'm like, yeah, that's literally what I do. And so it's funny because my friends, I have the same problem. I try to kind of explain, but nobody has any idea what I'm talking about half the time. So I gave up.
So, excuse me. I coughed and then I forgot what I was going to say. So, I remember what it was. So for you, RA, you live in North Carolina. If I told you I grew up in North Carolina, did I mention that to you or no?
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I grew up in a little town called Flat Rock, which is on the opposite side of North Carolina. That's East Carolina. It's near Asheville.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's it's real rural. So, which is funny because everybody always talks about how I don't have an accent, but I'm like, if y'all were around the accents I grew up around, like it's a stark difference to the way I talk.
Do you still have family there?
Let me think. I have family that has houses that has summer homes and stuff like that there that visit, but never live there.
In case if you go back there, does your accent come back? Does it?
I never had the accent. Everybody always asked me where I was from. I was like, I'm from here, guys. What are you talking about? So when I was little, it's
local.
Yeah, I've never understood why I never picked up an accent. And I've only ever lived in the South, so it doesn't make any sense. And now I'm in Atlanta, so
Brandy's accent comes out when she gets excited, and
it does so bad. It does. Or if I've had a glass of wine, like I need subtitles. It's mine. It gets to going, but I can tell too when I'm focusing on something. Because when I went to college, I went to college in Central Georgia. I went to Georgia College in Milledgeville.
Okay.
So I went to, I was in Central Georgia. So like around there, like Baldwin County area, and my daddy's side of the family's from Macon, like they are accented. There are accents. It's a thing.
Oh, yeah.
But in college, there's people from everywhere, and I got made fun of. And growing up in my hometown, everybody we all talk the same. Everybody still talks the same. It's not weird. But in college, I got made fun of, and so I learned when I was having to be in professional mode, to tone down my accent. And even now, I record this podcast, and I tone down my accent for that because I get comments that nobody can take me seriously and stuff. But mine gets really bad.
And for people that don't know, and I don't even know if you know this, Brandy, I think Milledgeville is known for they used to have a really big mental institution there, I think, right? That's what
I hear it all the time.
Yep. Put those headphones on and let's see if you can hear.
Yeah, people always tell me that's why the real reason I went. It's closed down now.
All right. Can you hear it?
Hi.
All right, cool. Now, I had her microphone hooked up, but it was being weird. So I'm just going to move it back and forth when she needs to talk, because this thing was just, I didn't want to create a complete mess on the live stream. So anyway, so if anybody has any questions, whether it's URA or Brandy or anybody over here in the chat that wants to ask questions about me, unfiltered, she'll tell you whatever you want to know.
The only thing I want to know is does he ever use his superpowers against you?
Yeah, he tries.
I knew it.
I always say, don't do that to me. Do not. I don't take it.
Can you turn it off? You'd be like, I'm not going to analyze you right now. I'll just listen.
Yes, he can.
Wow.
But does he choose to? Usually no.
So I've got a question for you. What do you think about what did you think initially when Dr. G started on YouTube?
I had no idea how it was gonna go or anything like that. If he would be successful, if anything would happen, I had no idea. But I was like, go for it. Let's just see what can't hurt, and it's been awesome. So pretty cool. And I spend a lot of time searching for true crime stuff for him. I mean, I watch a lot of true crime anyway. I'm true crime junkie. I'm always the one telling him about stuff, so that helps.
He's got a free secretary, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Do you watch all of his videos?
I watch some of them. Yes, some of them. A busy life over here, so
yeah. Let's focus on the word "some of them." Yeah.
we have 2 kids. It's tough.
That's really neat. How do you juggle the time? Because he works full time, right?
Yes, he does. And in between, he makes the videos. So I am the one that is taking the kids to school, picking them up, taking them to their activities, after, doctor's appointments. I do all of that. And if I am down, that's not good. Because then
Oh,
he
yeah.
has to like make time and rearrange so that he can take over. So I do my best to not be sick or injured, because I run the ship so that he can do what he does.
Now, did you know much about YouTube before he got started?
A little bit.
We watch it.
I mean, I watch various videos. Our children watch YouTube. I mean, so I know there's a lot of content out there and different kinds of things. But I didn't know much about true crime stuff on YouTube.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So if Dr. G had to have a YouTube channel about something other than what he does for his day job, what would he do?
100% video games.
Would it be?
Yeah.
Hold on. No, I think it would actually be UFC probably if I
Or
had.
that.
Yeah.
Or that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. UFC or video games.
I think there's actually a UFC video game where you could like merge the two together.
Or really bad movies like Mystery Science Theater. Have y'all heard of Mystery Science Theater?
I've heard of it.
Huge Mystery Science Theater fan. Maybe that too.
I would watch that. I would watch the really bad movies one.
You would be shocked at the obscure stuff he knows. It's like, I don't know anybody else that knows some of the obscure things that he does. I'm like, how did you find this movie? This is terrible. Where did it come from?
That's funny.
So hold on. This thing's giving me trouble. So I've always had this affinity for just really, really bad movies. So I have a very large and very obscure collection of just stuff that nobody else would ever want to watch. Just bad movies. Not like Sharknado, but like weird stuff from the 70s and 80s and 90s. So
Give us a couple examples.
Miami Connection, Jim Cotta. Like I'm talking real obscure, man. Nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about. So like if Jesse Ventura stars in a movie from like 1992, that kind of stuff. Just things that you would get for $1 at Walmart, basically.
This is like bad acting, like terrible
movies that are that somebody
they're so bad they're good.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yes, they're so bad they're good. Movies that people pour their heart and soul into and just can't and just didn't turn out well. There's something about that I find very charming and I enjoy. So
that's pretty cool. What other hobbies? You said UFC, the movies. What else are your secret hobbies or obsessions?
I spend so much time with either boxing, jiu-jitsu, or watching UFC and playing games, like video games with my kids. There's really not much else I do, actually. That and bad movies, that like legitimately outside of true crime, that's like all of my time. What else do I even do? I sculpt. I mean, that's like pretty much it.
You sculpt?
Yeah, I can sculpt really well. Yeah, my
Really?
father was an artist. Yeah, and I can sculpt very sort of photorealistic, you'd say, sculptures.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, we're going to need to see this. You got to put pictures on there or have you put them and I've missed them. I haven't seen this. That's really cool.
Yeah, I've never posted any of that kind of stuff. So, but
do you have any of this?
What?
Say that again already.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say for a bit he was sculpting like different heads, like busts. So he did like Thanos, and then he did this Japanese director. But there would be random heads laying around the house. Like this.
It could be useful around Halloween. I mean, this is
you can't say on a true crime channel there are random heads laying around the house. That could get used the wrong way.
I have a question for you, Dr. G. I want to like, what's the like, because I know we were just talking about like how people like, don't understand what we're doing or whatever. But as far as like people on the internet, what's like the biggest thing that people misunderstand about you or what you're doing or what you're analyzing? Like, because I know that, different kinds of doctors do different things and, have different, specialties and stuff. So like, do you get a lot of that? Like a lot of,
I get a lot of people that don't actually watch the video and then like complain about it. And it's like, I didn't.
Oh, useful.
I think
critiquing your thumbnail in detail.
Yeah, basically. I think people for the most part have a pretty good grasp of what I do. I mean, I don't get it, unless it's that people just don't like me. People generally seem to understand a lot of what I do, so I don't get a ton of that actually. But in terms of when people ask me to diagnose somebody, I'm not going to do that because that is there's sort of bounds in terms of what I can and can't do, and that's one of the things. Unless somebody has an established diagnosis, I can't be like, this person has this. There's certain like I can say psychopath because that's an informal term, but I can't be like they have antisocial personality disorder. I can say somebody might, but I can't say they do, like things like that.
Right. Yeah.
So without anybody really in the field on YouTube, who was your inspiration? I mean, who did you look to and say, hey, I want to try this. I want to take my work on the internet.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that I don't know actually. I just, I've always wanted to talk about psychology and find some way to talk about it online. And so finding videos that I would want, I think I was just trying to create videos I would want to watch actually, because and no offense to people that do this. But there's some psychologists that'll just talk for like an hour. And it can't hold my attention. So I was like, what's something that can? And it's like,
Yeah.
Because people like, and this is not, and I really like Behavior Panel, so I'm not dogging them at all. They've got their own style, but they'll show a clip and then they'll all talk about it. And I'll forget what the clip was a couple minutes after they've talked about it.
He has ADHD.
Yeah. Well, and so I try to create something that would hold the attention of somebody who doesn't have a very large attention span. So that was really my goal. I think it works pretty well. So
Yeah.
do you want to add anything to that, Janie?
You're just.
So if you could do this more, would it just be more of the same and more videos, or is there something you'd like to add to your channel, a new way to do things, or you have any desire to actually go to some of these trials and be there in person? Or
I just don't think I have to. If I had the time to, that'd be amazing. I would love that. That would be very cool. I mean, and sometimes I'm involved with these things and nobody knows about it because there's things I'm involved in where I'm not the expert witness, but I'm working with them. So there's stuff I am involved in. It's just that I can't talk with anybody about it. So, and because unless you're actually the one like that is an expert that's like talking about it, like, there's confidentiality there. So I'm involved in a lot of stuff. It's very interesting actually.
So there are cases that come up and everyone's asking you, hey, you need to do this. And you're like, I can't because I'm doing it already.
I'll just have to ignore it. If somebody asks me that, I just won't reply. That's the way I have to handle it. I can't say anything one way or the other. So it's pretty weird, but that is true. And so, there's cases I know that I can't be involved in coming up just for that very reason. So.
Okay, so I know you focus most on some of the strange behavior that's usually the defendant, okay,
Mm-hmm.
or somebody involved in the case. But do you have like favorite lawyer, favorite judge, any personalities from that you really like?
My favorite judge is and I'm blanking on the name. It's funny. I was talking about how well I remember all the people who make comments. The judge from the Murdoch trial. I love that judge. He's fantastic.
Newman.
Yes, Newman. Thank you. Yes,
Love
Judge
him.
Newman is awesome. I love watching Judge Newman. And then I think the attorney from the Johnny Depp trial is pretty good. Like I've seen him talk a few times, and I think that he generally has some pretty interesting things to say. So, I've also enjoyed the judge from oh my God, what's that trial now? No, I can't remember. But anyway, so Newman is probably my favorite of the bunch. Do you have one, RA? I'm just curious. Is there a judge that really stands out to you?
Well, the one that played my live stream in his court live.
Oh, right.
That was probably
yeah. Right. I forgot about that.
My heart, just so you're a fan. But yeah, no, I really like the Letitia Stout judge.
Yeah.
Because of how well he explained things to the jury. How he treated the jury was really what sold me on him. Just the whole cookie jar example of the evidence of different types of evidence, whether it's the words are gone.
Yeah, but, right. It's that time of week. Yeah.
Yes. It's been a long week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, she's saying yes to a long week. You have a long week ahead because you're getting up at 5 a.m. tomorrow, right?
Yeah, our 8-year-old daughter has a cheer competition.
Aw.
About an hour away from where we live, and I have to be there by 7:30 with her. So mom is getting up at like 5 o'clock.
Oh wow.
And we're not early risers when we can. I mean, I get up relatively early just because I have to for work, but we're not naturally people that want to get up at like 5 o'clock. So that's not our natural rhythms. We're late night folks. But
it came back to me. It's circumstantial evidence.
Circumstantial evidence. Yes, yes.
So that was the analogy. It was bugging me. Cheer competitions. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
So much work.
I could never. I mean, first of all, I don't have the body build for the cheerleader. To either be the one that gets thrown in the air or the one who does the catching. I think I'm out on both counts. But that's really neat.
One of the funny things I think people don't realize when I'm on here is I just don't think people realize my sheer size, because I'm a very large human being, and because I've had people comment, "Oh, you look like this guy and that guy," and it's like maybe from the neck up slightly, but like, I've got the body of a pro wrestler pretty much, like, and it just nobody seems to realize that. And it just makes me laugh because people's perspective of me is very different because I'm a doctor, I guess, so people just don't think about it. I mean, wouldn't you say that's fairly accurate?
How tall are you?
I'm close to 6'2", I think, and then I'm like 250 pounds I've been lifting. Well, I don't lift weights so much anymore, but I've been doing, boxing, mixed martial arts, and weightlifting for 30 plus years. So like, I'm a pretty big dude. I'm a heavyweight for sure.
Would you accept an invitation to spar, to enter the cage, for a charity match or something?
Absolutely. I would be there in a second. That's during the pandemic, I trained 7 days a week because that was my goal, is that when the pandemic was over, was going to be that I would try to do some amateur fights. That was really genuinely my plan. Which you didn't love the idea, because if I got concussed, that would mean I couldn't stare at a screen all day. But yeah. So I mean, that's true, right? I mean, that's
I would not watch. I can't watch that. No.
That would be hard to watch your spouse have to. That would be tough. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's assuming that people don't like getting hit. Like when you've done it for long enough, I don't mind getting punched at all. I don't like getting punched in the nose, but getting hit in the head doesn't bother me at all. So, so I would love to, if there was a YouTube boxing match and they allowed old people to do it, I would totally be there. I would do it.
You need to take that clip and put that like on your YouTube, so like the trolls will be like, you know what? Maybe I'll back off on this one a little bit. Like maybe I won't. Troll this account quite so much.
So somebody said, "Wait, how tall is Mrs. G? Would you like to?"
I'm on the very opposite of this spectrum. I'm only 4'10". I'm short.
And I'm not sure you're still 4'10". I think as we've gotten older, you might have.
I might be a year older than you, but I haven't shrunk yet.
That's cool. That's the celebrity boxing. We'll have to make this happen. I will film it. I've done that. I filmed cage fighting before.
Have you? Oh, okay.
Really?
Wipe blood off the lens between rounds. It was
fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Well, if it's my blood one day, I'll let you know. I wouldn't mind.
Find another person to spar with you in there.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions in chat? I haven't been paying attention.
I haven't been looking. I've been just chatting with y'all.
Sorry, I keep drinking water because of my cold, y'all. Sorry. Yeah, please, questions away, and we'll see what we can do.
YouTuber 2003 said, "Where did you meet your wife, and what do you two do for fun?"
Let's see. Well, I'm trying to look for.
It's just scrolled back a little bit.
We met in college.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well,
we met in college.
Yeah.
And
oh yeah, we're all sorts of fun when it comes to what we do for fun. You want to tell them what, like I said?
Well, we like to do puzzles. Sometimes we build Legos, which stemmed from our son. We would get him Lego sets when he was younger. He's 12 now. When he was younger, we would get him Lego sets and he wouldn't do them. So him and I would do them. And then
kids don't appreciate what Legos are.
Yeah. And then from there, we would just get bigger and bigger Lego sets. And then we used to play video games a lot, but I cannot stay awake that late anymore. So he plays mostly with our son.
But yeah, I mean, we've always done puzzles together. In college, we would have a weekend where we would hang out and drink with people. And then like the next day we would like do puzzles and stuff. We're, all sorts of fun. So,
getting wild.
Yeah.
I love it. I love doing puzzles, actually. I haven't had time to do it in a long time, but I love it.
What about you, Ari? I'm just curious, just not to sideline the questions, but what do you do for fun?
I love metal detecting. It's dirt fishing. I love history, and the funny thing is I don't have collect stuff I found. It's to the pretty on it's done. I took a picture and I found a gold coin, and it's awesome. I took a picture and gave it to the property owner. And it's like, oh, it's the finding for me that's so much fun. I like that. I do like actual fishing. I used to be addicted to video games. That was like, and by addicted, I'm talking clinically diagnosed addiction. So I can't delve in that very deeply, but we've got 6 kids, so we've got a lot of time we can spend with the kids as well. So that's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Here's
Yeah,
one.
I'm the youngest of 5. So
Is my feed glitching for you guys?
it's a little bit, yeah, for a second there.
Every once in a while, yeah.
Okay.
Hold on. Somebody asked what Mrs. G's degree is in, and it's in English lit. Is that? Yeah, she has a master's in English lit. Oh, now one thing I was going to say about the metal detecting RA real quick is that my insane theory when they were going to try to catch Cavalcante, once he had the gun, I thought, what if they got like a magnetometer and like on a drone and like hunted for him that way, But fortunately they caught him.
You know what? I actually I have great hopes of designing a new metal detector that can change the way people metal detect.
Amazing.
Specifically make it accessible to the handicapped population.
Yeah.
Because
that's cool.
metal detector is difficult on shoulders and elbows and arms. So I'm working on a design. I have to get with somebody that can help prototype it for me. That's
cool.
Design it, and maybe it might just change everything. And next thing you know, I mean, in my mind, it would change the world of metal detecting from completely. So yeah, maybe from a drone would work as well. That would be interesting. I do fly drones. I have some drones I fly.
That's awesome. Huh? Oh, let's see. Who's your favorite Avenger, Dr. G? Oh man, that's probably the Hulk, I guess. Just an unbridled rage. Yeah, he's kind of fun. So
That about made me choke out my water or my tea. That was funny.
So since we're talking about favorite Avenger, what are you going to dress up for Halloween?
Ooh, that's a good question. Now, it used to be that we would all try to like theme things up a little bit with the kids. I've been so busy I haven't even thought about it. What are the kids going as this year? Do you even know?
I don't know. What is Ryder going as?
Yeah. Our son usually goes as our son and I watched a lot of UFC together. I usually buy him all of the UFC champion like replicas, and he just goes dressed like that. That's what he's done for like 3 or 4 years now.
Our daughter, she has chosen to go as a pineapple. But if you knew her and you saw her, you would be like, that makes sense.
Yeah. She's tiny like Janie. So yeah. And during the last live stream I did briefly, was able to show people pictures of Iggy and Donut, our dogs. So I would love to bring them in, but they're so insane. I think it would just cause an absolute disaster if I tried to, because they come in my office, so they'd just be everywhere. So let's see. What other questions we got, y'all? See, Paula MC said, "How old are your kids, Dr. G?" 8 and 12. So
I'd see Ivan in there pitching to either be your opponent in the cage or being a cheerleader on the side. I'm not sure which one he wants to do, but he's up for a cage fight, I think.
Well, yes. Oh wait, no. So Ivan said, okay, if I buy tickets, are you down to go to UFC? UFC 296 is that's in December. I can't because she's getting eyelid surgery on the 13th, and UFC 296 is on the 16th. So I wish I could go, Ivan, but unfortunately I can't. Yeah, UFC 296 is going to be, well, you don't care, but trying to remember who's fighting then. That's yeah, I think there's a couple of belts on the line on that one. Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington, I think. Not that anybody cares, but anyway, yeah. I really am like, a lot of people are really obsessive about sports and know all the stats and basketball and football, and I don't follow any of that stuff. But with UFC, I'm sort of ridiculous.
Do you use any of your day skills when you're using UFC, like when you're talking, when people are, when they're facing off with each other, like pre-match, right? When they're up on the stand and they're bluffing, they're pumping themselves up. Do you look at something and like, this guy's scared to death?
Yeah, occasionally, but usually like less than you might think, because I'm usually so into it. That's like the one time my brain shuts off and I just like get into something. So occasionally I do, but usually not. What do you see? Something here. Oh, where did Dr. G graduate from? So UGA, Georgia Southern, and the Georgia School of Professional Psychology. So I went to several different schools. Let's see. Amy Bartholomew said, I love puzzles. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like we've done so many puzzles. It's ridiculous. Like it really is. And then we just build them and throw them away.
Are you a person watcher when you go out to eat? Like when you go out to a social event?
Am I not?
Not really. No, not really. Although he does, like when we're talking about like people or whatever, I'll ask him questions, but he has a tendency to diagnose in his head. He'll be like, that person seems borderline, or that person seems autistic, or it happens a lot.
That's what now, while you're on the mic, what's his one annoying habit? Does he squeeze the wrong end of the toothpaste tube? Does the toilet paper go on the wrong direction? What?
How long do we have?
She'll email us a list later.
Oh, it's for toothpaste. He squeezes in the middle and it goes everywhere. That drives me crazy. He, like I said, he has ADHD, so his attention is everywhere. He'll be doing something and then he'll forget, and then he'll go off and do something else, and then he doesn't come back to what he was doing. So I go behind him and I have to like finish up whatever he was doing or remind him. He just his attention goes everywhere a lot of times.
So you finish a lot of puzzles. Is that what I'm hearing?
He's good with that. But the thing with him is that he is hyper focused on things that he really enjoys. So when it comes to puzzles or Legos or things like that, he'll typically finish.
That's good.
We finish them together. But as far as like just random day-to-day like household things, he just forgets things.
So what was it about Dr. G that made you know that he was the one?
I would say just that he took good care of me. He was very sweet and would, do anything for me. So I was like, I can easily manipulate this one.
Got a sucker here. Here we go.
Yeah, like he's gonna be a sucker. Yes.
And not much changed either. So
yeah, and he does the cooking because I don't cook. I don't know how to cook, so he does a lot of the cooking. But if there's
a lot, I do literally all of it.
Yes, he does. If there's anything I ever need him to do, he will not say no.
No,
and I might take advantage of that.
Yeah. That's awesome. So there was a question up here that somebody asked that, hold on, I got to scroll back up, and I was like, oh, that's a good question, but I got to scroll back up. Let me find it. Dean Sparks, he said, body language in crime cases is gaining credibility. Are you getting more expert witness requests?
I was already getting a lot of expert witness requests, but I have gotten ones that from different places that have found me through that. So yes, I mean, I've had attorneys reach out. Some of them want me to do stuff. I was like, no, that's ridiculous. Which surprised me because I oftentimes think of attorneys as being the ones that are the gatekeepers with a lot of this stuff, but some of them have. So yeah, yes, I'm getting more requests for that kind of stuff. But really, when it comes to being an expert witness, like I can provide consultation elsewhere, but because of but I have to apply for like temporary licensure to actually physically go to another state. But I can do teletherapy or talk distance anywhere. That's complicated, but yeah. So yes, the answer is yes, but that doesn't mean I'm necessarily taking up a ton more of it.
So what are the ridiculous things that they're asking for?
I can't tell you. That's the problem. Is because I'm a psychologist. As soon as somebody asks me a question, that becomes a psychological relationship. Then everything is confidential after that. So I can't say ridiculous. Just yeah.
So So I have a question for you. A lot of times an expert witness on the stand gets asked a question on cross, and the question always has to do with money and how much they're getting paid. So what's your pat answer to how much are you getting paid to be here?
I mean, it's typically that I'll say it the same as pretty much everybody else. I mean, I'll tell people exactly how much I get paid to do it. And that, for whatever reason, that's never been a big issue for me. I mean, I've had awkward, weird situations. One time I was an expert witness as I was leaving. The attorney I was dealing with was very strange, and I don't care if he sees this. He was very weird. And like, he gave me a check literally as I was walking out of the courtroom, and then like had cash with it as well. It was the craziest thing. I had to awkwardly like take it. It was just like, what are you doing? So anyway,
You talk about it in front of him and make sure it was all there, or
I mean, I literally just shoved it in my pocket, and it was like that was the most awkward thing that I've ever been through. I don't even remember which case that was on, but it was very strange. And but as far as like when people ask how much I get paid, like that's never really been an issue that I felt like had any real bearing. I've had people ask, but it's never been something that like made me anxious when people asked, or that was a big deal, because I don't ask for like $1,000 an hour or anything outrageous. It's pretty standard for what a forensic psychologist to get paid. So
I just wondered if you were more like I've got somebody who does the billing for me. I don't even know. That seems to be a common answer. It's like, I'm not sure how many hours are put into this.
See, because of the way that I am, I'm weird when it comes to breaking rules. Like if it was, I would, yeah. So I don't mind. I would never want to say something on the stand that I didn't, because if I know, because I would actually know, and it would feel super uncomfortable to me to not be like very direct about that. Were you going to add something to that, Janie?
No.
Okay.
I was just agreeing. You
Okay.
are very much a rule follower. He doesn't break rules. It would cause him too much anxiety.
That is true. It depends on the kind. Well, it depends on the kind of rule, I suppose.
Yeah.
But rules like that, yeah, that would cause me a ton of anxiety. So yeah, I would not be down with that. I wanted to respond to this. So Ivan said, now that I know Dr. G explains the UFC nut, it's going to be my personal bucket list to go on a fight with him. I'm going to try to go to International Fight Week next week. I know nobody cares, but anybody so I that's in Vegas. I will probably be going there next year. I'm trying to plan that right now. So anybody that wants to join, just let me know.
That's awesome. There's been a question too where people were asking about one of the trials for. I think this is from your trial, RA. People from my trial wanted me to ask you about the eye blinking from the mom or the adopted mom who's sitting in the not the stands. I've already got football on my mind, but I'm saying the stands, not the stands, in the gallery. The way she blinks and stuff. I don't know if you've seen any of that.
The boy in the box trial, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
I've watched some of the dad. That's really all I've focused on so far. So I'm a little behind just because I'm playing catch up. But I'm actually going to do a video on that. But I haven't seen that part yet. So I wish I could give you an answer. I'm not sure.
And I've seen a couple people ask in chat about the trial that RA is covering too, the Maya case. Kathy, her body language. Kathy, I haven't got to see any of that.
Deposition of the social worker. Maya
and
case.
I'm totally behind on the Maya case. That one I haven't watched any of that one yet. So
I watched the documentary on that on Netflix.
Oh yeah,
and I feel really bad for that family. I mean, it's awful and horrible what they were put through, and those poor kids. It's awful.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons I haven't been aggressively pursuing the Maya case is because it is a fairly small community. I don't know if I know people involved with it, and it's a weird one. So that's one that I've been a little bit less inclined to rush towards. I might check it out at some point, but I'm way behind on that one. So I don't have a lot of thoughts about that one yet.
As far as some of the big trials that are coming up, Sarah Boone, Brian Koberger, Corey Richens, the Hildebrandt, Jodi Hildebrandt in Southern Utah. What are you most excited about to analyze?
I'm definitely most excited about the Ruby Franke, Jodi Hildebrandt, if that airs. I mean, I've watched so many hours of their Connections classroom on Facebook, which is pretty wild. I've done a lot of videos on it. I would really like to see that trial. And I'm actually, all the ones you just mentioned, I plan to cover, like literally all of them. So I'm waiting on the Koberger one until that one. Well, assuming
We've
that
got a year or so before that really develops.
Yeah. So, and like as I said on my last live stream, it is not my fault if they don't allow cameras in the courtroom. They may have cited me for it, but it's still not. It's not my fault.
Yeah, it's not. But you know, we get blamed for everything on YouTube, so it'll somehow come back to us. But it's not. But also it is. I know this is just me being like weird because I'm a weird person, but it's actually kind of cool though that you're cited in the documents of one of the biggest cases. Like the fact that like that shows you how seriously this,
Yeah, I mean, and that's what I thought was so interesting. Why they singled out my video out of all of them. We talked about that already. I was on RA's channel talking about that at one point. So it was, why they picked me was so strange. But
I had all the names in the hat, and they shook them up. You came to the top. It's neat. It's fun. I don't know. It's one of those moments where, I mean, for me, when my name came up or my audio came up in Schroeder's court, I was just on cloud 9 and petrified at the same time.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, what did I do? Really, nothing wrong. It's just strange. Couldn't help it.
That's awesome. Both of those were like wow moments. It's crazy.
The you mentioned, oh Lord, Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone, that case is going to be wild. I mean, she's on her 8th attorney, I think, right? Something like that, 7th or 8th attorney, and it's just, I'm still confused as to why they can't find one that sticks with her. Because I mean, she seems difficult, but like that's a lot of attorneys to go through. So
a lot. Business didn't even go through that many. Like
no, yeah.
I think Tommy did. Randolph, I think he did, but also the extent of time of his has been longer than hers. So she's like she's rolling them out just as quick as she's rolling them in. It's crazy how many she's going through. That's crazy. I want her to represent herself selfishly, just because I think it will be. That
would be amazing, right? Like that would be fun to watch.
Oh, it would be something to watch for sure. But that's just me being selfish.
I think I need to switch from this feed. I'm going to switch to an iPad. Is it okay? I'm going to come in on a different device with the green screen.
Sure. Yeah.
My clone is going to join in just a minute.
All right, cool. And I will remove an ad as needed. See, Denny said, Dr. G's a beast. This is cool getting a glimpse into Dr. G's personality and hearing from his wife, too. Well, thanks, guys. Yeah, I mean, I am a pretty open book. If there's anything people want to know, either I or Janie will fill you in. One of the weird things about the live streaming using this program called StreamYard is that it gives me bursts of comments sometimes like a little bit later. So if people are asking stuff and it takes a minute, that's why. All right, let me add.
Yeah.
Okay. I probably sound weird, but I'm here.
I knew you didn't live in a courtroom, but it still surprises me.
I put the curtain up. You can't see the courtroom right now, but this is the big ear reveal too. After wearing headphones all day, I've got these big like impressions on the side of my head. I go out in public and it just looks funny. But
I think this is the first time I've ever seen your ears. Like I feel like we just like this is a whole new step in all of our friendships, because this is all the first time that we're seeing RA's ears.
So excuse me. This cold is really getting to me. Let's see, y'all. Yeah. What other questions y'all got? We'll answer any, or RA, if you got questions for us, if there's anything else that you want to know,
I just want to make sure it's working here. Hang on.
I have a random question.
Go for it,
this is
Brandon.
just going back to because all three of us are relatively new on YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
So, and I think so we've all kind of like just jumped in and have learned that, different things as we've gone. I'm really curious to know what is like your like the one thing that you were like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that. And then like the one thing that you think, obviously other than the 100K, because that's a huge thing, like the one thing that like you're like the most proud of from it.
So in terms of, okay, so what's something that I wish I hadn't done and what's something I'm proud of?
Or like just anything that you messed up or wish you hadn't done, or wish, like, you know, like,
I mean, I'm trying to remember because there've been a couple of videos that I've released and then taken down where I was like, I probably shouldn't do that. There was one that was on a shooting that I was like, that one made me feel a little weird. Just because the comments got wild and I was like, I don't need to start the discussion. So I took that down. I've definitely gotten some editing issues that afterward I'm like, Jesus, why did I do that? So that happens. That's one of the problems with not doing live streams is that, you know, it is up to my editing, and like, you know, sometimes the videos are 20 minutes and after watching them a few times, just like, whatever, it should be fine. And then I'll leave something in. So there were a couple of times where I like clipped things using YouTube, which is rare, but I've done that. But yeah, just that kind of stuff. Occasionally there'll be a case I'll cover and go, I wish I hadn't weighed in on that. That's happened a couple of times, but I won't mention which ones because that's why I wish I hadn't weighed in on them. But as far as, you know, what's been good, like I said, getting like it really does feel like you're part of a community. Like I said, I really do recognize, you know, the vast majority of these names. And despite the fact that it means a lot when people make positive comments, it really doesn't bother me when people talk smack and say stuff that's mean. Like, I really don't care. Like it's even though I care greatly about the positive stuff, you know me. I mean, you know, like, what do you think I think of the people that have negative things to say?
You don't care at all.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the nice things is I'm pretty resistant to that stuff. So if people are trying to get under my skin, it really doesn't work. I will hide people just because it probably annoys them, but it doesn't, you know. So anyway, the positive stuff has been getting to connect with all these folks. And, you know, let's see. Somebody did ask something I wanted to answer. Somebody said, did Dr. G, have you ever been on a jury? No. Ooh. As soon as people hear I'm a forensic psychologist, there's no scene gone. You know, so I especially now, you know, if I was called for jury duty, I mean, they wouldn't let me on. They wouldn't want me anyway. But especially now, if I talk about that I have a true crime channel, they just be like, get out of here. So,
yeah.
So I've got a question. What's your merchandise going to be like? You've got a lot of people who want to represent your channel a little bit. What are you gonna provide out there? That's a
great question. I'm glad you're asking me this because so here's why I haven't started merch yet, because I'm going to have some, is because I'm going to change my logo and I don't want people stuck with my old logo. So I'm going to change my logo. My merch will probably be something slightly irreverent. I mean, one of the things that people don't see about my personality much on here is that I don't, there are aspects of myself that I don't lean into so much, and I can be a little bit silly and irreverent. So I'll probably come up with something that I think is kind of funny. So it probably would be, you know, I mean, how would you describe parts of my personality that people don't see?
I don't know.
If you can think of it.
Different.
I don't cuss online.
No, this man cusses like a sailor. I do as well. Not online. I mean, he has a very specific sense of humor. There are very specific things he finds funny that I don't know that other people would. I will guarantee you that whatever he does for his merch, it will be something that there will be something in it only he will find funny.
Be like a hidden message of some sort.
So I'm gonna find some because there was a shirt or a hoodie that I meant to buy that RA had put up during the Cavalcante search, or maybe it may have been before that, but it said something like, "This is my
this is my prison escape hoodie."
This is my prison escape hoodie. That was so funny. Yeah, you know, but stuff like that I think is great.
That's what I'm wearing for Halloween. I mean, that's how much effort I put into my costumes.
So let's see. You want to go check on what's going on, or do you think they're okay? I think they're fine, but
is this the first stream that you've had your wife on for?
No, she's been has been on other ones. It's the first one that she's been on this long for, I think, though, because usually, you know, there's always something going on. Kids are making noise, so she just wanted to make sure everything's good. You know how it is.
Oh yeah.
I only ask because tonight we have our little podcast, and my wife's going to be our guest on the podcast.
Oh, cool.
So she's super nervous, and I'm saying,
Aw.
it'll be great. You're going to love it. It's going to be wonderful. But I was just wondering how you talked your wife into saying, hey, here, hop on.
Well, if she hops back on, I'll let you know. But I basically, would just say, like, would you please do it? People are going to like seeing you and getting to hear from you. It's just cool to get to do that. And so she'd be like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, just do it. And then after the first time she was on, I was like, see, people have been giving really positive feedback. So please come back again. And it's, she gets a little nervous about it, but she's, it takes a little cajoling to get her to a little convincing to get her to come in and do it. But I'm sure your wife is going to do great. I'm sure she'll be fine.
She's amazing. I married up. So I'm the weak link in the chain when it comes to our marriage. So I have no doubts that she's going to be great.
So RA was just saying that his wife is going to be on his podcast for the first time today. And what was it like for you to have to come on here for me to convince you to do it?
I mean, I'm mom, so I'm very busy and tired a lot. And but I want to know I support everything that he's doing. So he'd be like, it's just 30 minutes of your time, or it's just a couple minutes. And so I'm like, okay, I can do that.
You feel nervous at all doing it?
At first I was, because I didn't know what it was going to be like, or how the layout was, or how you do it. And I didn't have, like, people couldn't hear me.
You gotta talk closer.
Like, people couldn't hear me because they don't have this mic and I was sitting far away from you. So I would just sit and read the feed mostly.
Yeah.
But I'm getting used to it. And he said, you don't have to get on all the time. I'm like, okay. We make a deal. We work things out.
Yeah.
Or try to.
Yeah. So and I know we'll try to wrap things up in like 15 minutes, because I know you've got your own podcast coming up at 8, right? Right, RA? Or
Got time.
Yeah.
5 minutes and I'm ready to go. So.
Yeah. Okay. So see, Michelle Johnson said, Mr. G, please have your wife visit often. Thank you. Yeah, that's the plan. As long as she's up for it, as long as you want to do it, then yeah, I would love for her to come and join me. It's always fun.
Are you any desire for a meet and greet in the future, like at a CrimeCon or at, I guess, a UFC fight? Wherever
Yeah, I mean,
you prefer to have it.
I've thought about that. The CrimeCon thing. I've had my front office was asking me about that, saying, hey, do you want me to like block off your schedule next year so we can try to do CrimeCon? I was like, maybe. So
yes,
maybe.
do it. Let me tell you, I went, do it.
Okay.
It was the best. And I was like, I don't know if I want to go. And my friend, Carrie Rawson, she was a big part of CrimeCon. And
okay.
I was talking to her and she was like, no, you have to go. Stop. Whatever you're doing, stop. You have to go.
Yeah.
So she talked me into it and I went, and I am so glad that I did. It was such a great experience, because being able to hear, like, the Gabby Petito Foundation was there, and being able to talk to Gabby's family and, hear how they're turning this into something positive, and, and then getting to like talk to all these other, like all the people that we interact with all the time, every single day on, YouTube and Twitter and wherever else about all of this, like seeing everybody in person and like, talk. It was the coolest thing. So y'all have to go. I've already got my ticket. I'm going in Nashville. I've already got my ticket.
Yeah.
It was the coolest thing. Y'all should definitely come.
Huh? Next year it's in Nashville. So
yeah, it's May 30th through June 1st or 2nd or something like that. So
yeah, so we should.
It was awesome.
I will go.
Yeah. Wait, so say that again.
I said I will go if it means you'll get out of the house so we can go on vacations.
Yeah.
There you go.
You're very busy. So yeah. That's
Well,
she runs the ship, so she says y'all are going.
Dr. G, I'm just super impressed. What you've done with your channel is amazing. Not just for the true crime community, but on the YouTube picture as a whole.
Yeah.
You're a cut well above the rest, and just incredible. I try to tell people that just in the interactions we've had, both on there and off the air. You're the same person. You know, we're just amazing, genuine, authentic, and incredibly knowledgeable. Anytime you come on the show with us, it raises the caliber of the show a great deal. So I'm super excited for this 100,000 for you, but that's not going to be the last plaque you get. You're shooting for the moon, and it's going to be incredible. And I think it'll happen fast. So,
I really, really appreciate it. I mean, it really genuinely means a lot to me, because this is something I really do put my heart and soul into, because I really want people to learn to protect themselves better. I really do. I mean, that's a big part of what this is. And so it means the world to me that you say that, RA. It really does. And it's funny, because I'll tell my wife, oh yeah, you know, I was watching this on Recovery Addict or this, and she's just like, what are you talking about? Leave me alone. So I really appreciate that. And you know, part of the reason that I wanted to have you and Brandy here is I really genuinely think that you guys are the best YouTubers out there. It's not that like I didn't reach out to other people. I could have, but I didn't, because I really want y'all to be on here, because I enjoy y'all's channels more than anybody else's. So I really appreciate y'all making the time to come on here and hang out. It's awesome.
That's awfully kind. You're most generous. Just we'll have to have you on the channel as well here soon when our schedules line up.
But what we also need to do is to make sure that everybody watching, or everybody live or later, that is not subscribed to either the 13th Juror with Brandy or Recovery Addict with Scott, that you please go and subscribe to them, because it really does help us out to have subscribers. I mean, that's a big part of the way that YouTube works. And so having people subscribe, and you'll catch stuff, you know, if you're not following them already, there will be some random stuff that they're covering that is going to excite you, and you'll get to watch, and you're gonna be like, oh my God, I'm so glad I got to see this, because it's just, there's always something. So
court is exciting. You think that it's a boring situation and very formal, but every single trial there's something that happens that just your eyes pop out of your head and you're like, I can't believe this is happening here.
Yes.
It never fails to amaze, and it always entertains and enlightens as well.
And let's see, hold on, no, there was a Grizzly. Okay, this is what it was. Grizzly True Crime is also great. Yeah, I really enjoyed Grizzly True Crime as well. Yeah, they're awesome. I mean, there's some great channels. But I could see, I mean, I imagine that you guys are really gonna you know, I'm curious where we're all gonna be in a few years as we continue on this YouTube journey, because there's just no way to know. But let's say what?
We're gonna be old and tired.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. We'll have to get back together too, because RA is going to be at 100,000 in no time. So we'll have a reunion. We'll have
Seriously. Yeah. Well, RA, your numbers went up a ton during the Cavalcante stuff, right? I mean, at least that was my observation.
17,000.
That's so awesome.
During a week, and it was crazy.
That's wild.
And they've been dropping ever since, because a lot of the people that joined were all about the manhunt, but not really true crime fans.
Okay.
So it's I guess that's the problem. You split your niche a little bit.
See, Sandra Oliver said, I watch all of Dr. G's videos. I appreciate it. Thank you. She doesn't, though. She needs to watch. No, I try. Sometimes I have her watch things before I release it, to just be like, hey, does everything on this make sense? Am I missing anything? I just want to have a second pair of eyes on it. That's the one thing I try to do before I release each video, because sometimes when I'm trying to analyze is so complex, I want to make sure I'm not like just talking too much or whatever. So
awesome. Dr. G, you've got a great help there by your side. That
there's no way I could do this without her, for sure. Like, seriously, I give her a ton of credit for being able to give me the time to do this, and the just helps me out in every way possible. So yeah, she's we've been together for 22 years now. Is that right? Yeah, 22 years. So we've been together 22 years, and it's
oh wow.
Yeah, it's gone by quick. But yeah, we are very reliant on each other in a lot of ways, and I definitely rely on her. There's no way I could do this without her, for sure. So
Yeah, there was
that's awesome.
when I had my retinal detachment surgery, he was running everything, working, taking the kids, picking up the kids. 'Cause I was out of commission. I couldn't see from the
Oh, wow.
retinal detachment. So he was running everything. And he goes, oh my God, I cannot wait till you can function again and take over, because this is a lot. I was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, what I do is a lot.
Yeah. Aw.
Well, it was wild that one day she just started seeing flashes in her vision, and then her retina detached, and we didn't know what had happened. And so we went to the ophthalmologist. Yeah, okay. I know.
Ophthalmologist.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And they basically said she had a retinal detachment, had to do emergency surgery, and she had to be face down for a week, basically. So she had to sit in this crazy chair, and literally, because they pumped gas into her eyeball so it would reattach to the retina, so she had to be face down. So literally, I had to do everything because she couldn't even like get up without help. It was wild. So.
And like,
Yeah.
I was the youngest patient.
Yeah. When she went there, yeah, you were the youngest patient because everybody there, mostly what people that go through that are, elderly. It's mostly like 70 plus that people are dealing with that kind of stuff. So she was, by far the youngest person there. For whatever reason, it just happened. But if you start seeing weird flashes in your vision, go to a doctor very quickly. It's not good. Let's see. So Diet Coke Mama said, "Poor Mrs. G, my husband is going through that crazy." Yeah, it really is. I feel for him. That is not a fun thing for anybody to have to go through. But yeah, give me some perspective on what it's like to try to juggle cooking and taking the kids and working and all of that. It was a lot, but
not many movies were posted that week, right?
Fortunately, this was actually a couple of months before the pandemic, right? Yeah, it was like 2 months before the pandemic. It was wild because we went. If that had happened like a couple of months later, it would have been crazy because places were closed. Anyway, it was like January of 2020. That was wild. But anyway,
okay, so I've got one question.
Yeah.
Don't kick me off just for asking this.
Yeah, shoot, please.
What's the craziest you've ever had your hairstyle?
Oh, okay. So this haircut you're seeing right here, I've had this since I was about 13. So I haven't had a lot of crazy hairstyles. I rocked a pretty sweet bowl cut when I was a little kid. But beyond that, that's pretty much what you got, huh? Yeah, well, that was for like a day, but that was just like I was just trying to be silly before I buzzed all my hair off. But yeah, I haven't like rocked that haircut, but I've never, unfortunately, I've never had anything interesting for whatever reason that's just sort of fit my face. There's certain things that like some people look good with haircuts and some people don't. And
you make it look good, so I'm looking forward to the near future now. If I can look somewhat like you.
I would say that when we met, my hair was maybe an inch long, but still the same basics. It was bleached. That is true.
Yeah, it was bleached blonde, like right before Eminem started doing it.
Trendsetter.
OG.
Yeah.
And had these hoop earrings, and would wear like button-down shirts and cargo pants, and
yeah. It was the 90s. What are you gonna do?
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it was.
I want to see this. I got to see pictures.
Yeah, I'll find some and post them. I got called Slim Shady more than a few times. So. Still was first, but
The original.
Yeah, right. They say, yeah, earrings. I didn't guess. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people probably would. Yeah.
He had these hoop earrings. He also had a dagger earring, but he was going to be meeting my mom for the first time, and my mom is very old-fashioned, old Korean lady. So I was like, "You got to take them out." Not gonna approve. So he took them out, and then he just did put them back in.
Yeah. It was. Did I still have that dagger in my ear? Because it was basically, it looked like a knife through my ear because I have three earring holes. Yeah. It's so funny because I just think that like. I don't think people probably pick up that vibe from me based on my current work.
No. No, that's why I'm like, send pictures. I want to see this. I want to see the original Slim Shady with the hair and the earrings and everything. I want to see it.
Well, you've got it. I would have loved to have been a professional fighter back then. Like, so it's just like, it's funny that the divergent paths, but I probably picked the right one. Like, I'll be real.
I want to watch a fight next to you, and you'll have to do the rings, the earrings, and everything.
Yeah.
You got to go back to that same style, and I want to.
But I would take the earrings out when I would fight, by the way, because otherwise it would have really messed me up.
Yeah,
but yeah, anyway, so yeah, I'll dip back into the old days. No tattoos though. Yeah, somebody asked if I had tattoos. I'm so impulsive that I know if I get a tattoo, I would regret it. So I've got no tattoos.
Really?
So there's certain things that I've sort of rules I've set for myself because I know I know myself so well that anything permanent like that, I just know I would regret it because I would think it would be the greatest idea at the time and then totally regret it. I don't think there's anything wrong with tattoos. All my siblings are covered in them. I just happen to not do any. So
You ever have speeding tickets?
None. Zero.
She's like, I did. I handle that part of the house too.
The rule following part, that's the kind of rules that I follow. So like it's part of the reason I've been able to be successful is because despite my borderline crippling ADHD at times, if I follow certain rules, I can avoid trouble. So that was one of them. So I've always been pretty good about not speeding. So yeah, it's weird, but
that's impressive.
Yeah. But yeah, you've gotten your fair share.
I've only gotten one speeding ticket, and we were living in Athens, Georgia, because we were going to UGA, and I was going down the main highway to get into Athens. So I was coming back from Atlanta. I was visiting my parents, and I see the police lights and everything. So I pull over, and the cop walks over, and he looks at, and he goes, "Is that you?" I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "I couldn't see you." I said, "I know, I'm short. Real short. You can't see me." And he was like, "Oh my God." But he was really nice. He just gave me he said I was going like 15 miles over the speed limit, which I don't think I was, but he was nice enough to bump it down to 10 so I wouldn't get any points on my driver's license. So
I got my first speeding ticket on 78 going into Athens too. So
did you?
Yeah. I really did. Yeah, when I was like 16. May have been the same guy.
That's his spot.
Yeah, that's the spot. That's where everybody gets it, right there in 78.
But despite sitting on a cushion, you still can't see her head over the you know. That's why somebody had posted last time, like, why don't you give her a taller chair? Or like, why are you sitting in such a high chair? I'm like, I'm not. She's just way shorter than me. She's sitting on a pillow right now. Yeah, standing, she's almost the same height as me.
Aw.
So let's see. So I'm going to end in a minute because I need to eat, and because normally I could go for a couple hours, but because of my cold, I will regret it if I don't finish things up in a second. But I really do appreciate, Brandy, you coming on here, and Scott. I really appreciate both of y'all coming and hanging out with me today. We should do it again at some point. This really was fun, you know. And
yes, I would love to.
Nobody else online I would rather celebrate my 100K with. So I really appreciate y'all coming and hanging out. So
that means a lot. Thank you so much.
It's a huge milestone, but it's not going to be the last. You're amazing. So thank you for everything you do.
Well, I appreciate it. And I appreciate everybody in the comment section. Sorry, I didn't reply to as many questions today. It's just sort of the nature of how we sort of set the day up. But once we get back into the next live, I'll answer all sorts of stuff. But yeah, so thanks, y'all. We'll wrap things up for today. Please keep me, let me know if there's other stuff y'all want me to analyze. As always, you know where to find me, and I will be back on again soon. All right. Thanks, guys. I'll see you.